But first, I'm going to go ahead and give the medical disclaimer. The information provided is for educational purposes and is not intended as medical advice or a substitute for medical advice of a physician or other qualified healthcare professional. We do not aim to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any illness or disease, and you should always consult with a doctor or other healthcare professional for medical advice or information about diagnosis and treatment. And the information in this presentation has not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration or any other medical body. So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Dr. Dori Narpo, and I'm your host on today's call. For those of you who don't know me, I am a clinical researcher and an author of several books. So welcome to our Tuesday call with Clayton Thomas, who is the founder of Root. Clayton has over 25 years of experience in the health and wellness industry, and for the past 16 years, he's been focused on detoxification and supplementation formulations with the simple philosophy, cure the cause. Hello, Clayton, and welcome to the call.
Happy Tuesday. Are we here without Claire today?
I'm here.
She's gallivanting in Mexico, but she's here.
I'm here. I wouldn't miss you guys for the world.
Super. Okay, well, we're going to go ahead and, well, first of all, I noticed, Clayton, that we do have some new and some old familiar faces on our call today. So welcome, everyone. And last week, we talked about the 10 steps to improving gut health with an introduction to Relive Greens. So today we thought we would talk about natural barrier support.
All right.
And this is something that we need right now, right? So let's go ahead and get started. But first, we're going to go ahead and just briefly review what we talked about last week. We introduced 10 steps for improving gut health. Those were, the first one was probiotics and fermented foods, and then we had prebiotics. We talked about eating less sugar, reducing stress, avoiding antibiotics unnecessarily, and then, of course, exercise regularly, sleep. We talked about cleaning products, avoiding smoking, and then, of course, eating more vegetables. Where's my, okay. So last week we went over Relive Greens, and these are the ingredients in the product. Something's wrong with my mouse here. So we made a compilation of the slides here that we went over, and these are all the ingredients. And the first one you'll see is inulin. This is a dietary fiber and a prebiotic, and prebiotics act as a fertilizer for probiotics. It promotes good digestive health. It influences lipid metabolism and helps to optimize the levels of glucose and insulin, which also helps to control diabetes and aids in weight loss. And then we have green banana flour. This is also a prebiotic. It's a very beneficial bacteria. It helps to protect the cells and reduces the prevalence of growth of potentially harmful bacteria in the large intestines. And then we have apple fiber. You know, the old saying, the old adage, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. Well, this is a type of fiber in the apples that has good bacteria, and they protect against obesity, heart disease, and type 2 diabetes. Apples are actually considered a prebiotic component because of the fiber content that it has, but technically they're actually a prebiotic and a probiotic. And then we have Bacillus coagulus. This is a type of good bacteria called it's called a probiotic. This strain of bacteria is particularly robust in the fact that it's able to withstand extreme environments such as high levels of acid in the stomach. And then the next one we have is spirulina. This is a blue-green algae. It's considered a superfood of the sea. And research suggests that spirulina has antioxidant and inflammation-fighting properties, as well as the ability to help regulate your immune system. And the next one we have that we talked about was wheatgrass. This is regarded as a super potent health food with amazing benefits, and it's considered a living food. The next one we have is barley grass. This is rich in variety of important nutrients and contains a good amount of vitamin A, fat-soluble vitamin, which is a fat-soluble vitamin, and it helps to regulate your immune function, your cell growth, and also very good for vision. And then we have alfalfa leaf. This is a source that's rich in iron, niacin, biotin, folic acid, calcium and magnesium, and phosphorus and potassium is also a source of chlorophyll. So this is very good for helping to lower cholesterol, also helps control blood sugar levels. And then of course we have flaxseed, has many health benefits due to the omega-3 fats. It's a powerful antioxidant and also has estrogen properties and fiber, and also helps to prevent breast and prostate cancer, as well as other types of cancers. And then the next one we have is psyllium husk. And psyllium is like actually the main ingredient of Metamucil. So this is a fiber that helps with, like for example, constipation. It's soluble fibers. This passes through the small intestine without being completely broken down and absorbed. It's considered a prebiotic. And then we have chlorella next. This is a single cell green freshwater algae with a very impressive nutritional profile. And one of the things that's really interesting about chlorella is that it binds to heavy metals. So it actually will help with the detoxification and also help to improve immune function. So the next one is broccoli. Broccoli is high in fiber and many vitamins and minerals, including folate, potassium, manganese, iron, vitamin C, and K1. It actually contains more protein per calories than steak. I'm going to try to tell that to my husband and see if he'll go for it. The avid meat eater.
And both are good grilled.
Yeah, exactly. And then kale is very high in nutrients and very low in calories, making it one of the most nutrient-dense foods on the planet. It's loaded with antioxidants and extremely high in vitamin C. And then we have spinach. It's low in carbs, high in insoluble fiber, and also very high in protein. In fact, per calorie, spinach is about equal to fish and chicken.
Well, and there's a specific enzyme in spinach, and I don't know if Dr. Rao's hanging out with us because he's discussed this. I forgot.
I remember that one.
Forgetting the name of it. That's one of the keys to muscle development, and in addition to the protein. And it's funny because when we were talking about this initially, when he was bringing it up, which is also on the YouTube channel on a previous conversation, it's the reason that the story of Popeye actually is factual, that it was the spin.
Okay, next one is cabbage. Cabbage is exceptionally healthy food. It's also a low-calorie vegetable, rich in vitamins, minerals, antioxidants. Also helps to reduce inflammation. And then parsley is a low-calorie. It contains many powerful antioxidants. It's a nutrient-dense herb, particularly rich in vitamin K, A, and C. And of course, we all know the health benefits of aloe vera. It is an anti-inflammatory, antioxidant, antibacterial, loaded with vitamins and minerals and amino acids, helps to boost your digestion, and also to remove toxins from the body. And then we have cayenne pepper. Did you figure it out, Clayton?
No, I'm looking.
Okay, so we have cayenne pepper. This is very high in a number of nutrients, including vitamin C and provitamin A. It also acts as an anti-inflammatory and it has antioxidant properties. And it's also as effective as a prebiotic for bifidobacteria and lactobacilli. So cayenne pepper is, with probiotics, it can lead to a more profound gut microbial shifts. Blueberries, blueberries is a big thing here in Norway. So they are a very rich antioxidant that helps to prevent damage on a cellular level. It also has loaded with vitamin C and vitamin K. It's well known for a prebiotic, and so it helps to support digestion, fights inflammation and gut dysbiosis. And then we have pomegranate. Pomegranate helps to stimulate the growth of bifidobacteria and lactobacilli, which are the two most important strains of probiotic bacteria in your colon. It also inhibits the bad bacteria. And the seeds are actually a source of, they're actually a source of prebiotics to help feed the probiotics in your gut. And then we have MTC oil, and this helps to support weight loss by increasing the fullness. It helps with fat loss, ketone production, and improving your gut environment. And it's used as an instant source of energy and can be converted into ketones. So that was just a real condensed version of what we talked about. It was over an hour last week, right? And one of the interesting, what's that?
I found it. It's I put it on the chat. It's ecdysterone, which is interesting because there's some cool articles that state that spinach contains phytoecdysteroids, which aid in increasing muscle growth up to 20%, according to research at Rutgers published in 2008. Leafy vegetables help a great deal if you're trying to build muscles and lose fat, as they're packed with antioxidants, which you know, but it's very, very beneficial in muscle development, which everybody wants. So if you're an athlete, you should be using the greens.
Absolutely.
Or if you want to get lean, which we're seeing in a lot of people already,
which actually makes sense that when you use that, you know, the fat to muscle ratio, right? Fat muscle weighs more than fat, so you're going to actually burn more. Your metabolism is going to kick up. So anyways, this article here I showed you guys last week, this is about probiotics and the promising generation of, you know, heavy metal detoxification, because the probiotics actually is going to help with heavy metal detoxification or detoxification in general. So you're getting kind of like, I thought, a double whammy, you know, using the clean slate on with this as well. And then these were the references that we cited last week. So today we're going to talk about natural barrier support.
Not as many ingredients.
No, so that's why I said it'll be a quick call. So then Claire can get back to her Mexican fiesta over there.
Regenerative retreat, that's what it's called.
Yeah, there you go. So natural barrier support is a combination of vitamin C, zinc sulfate, and vitamin D3. It works as a blockade against infection. It's for inflammatory diseases. It also helps to support the immune system. The serving size is 100. You take a 1/3 teaspoon per serving per day. However, in Norway, it's going to be, you know, more like 1/4 to come in line with the requirements. 1/4 of a teaspoon is what you need for the European guidelines. What's that? Vitamin C. So due to its function as an antioxidant and the role in immune function, vitamin C has been promoted as a means to help prevent and or treat numerous health conditions. And so there's basically four diseases and disorders in which vitamin C might play a role in, and that would include cancer, in the prevention and treatment, cardiovascular disease, age-related macular degeneration, and also cataracts and the common cold. I think it's really interesting because when we were going over the ingredients in the greens, age-related macular degeneration came up a lot. Like, that's going to be amazing to see the changes that the community is going to have over time with their vision. That's really exciting.
Well, and one of the things I don't know if you saw some of the images. We're getting some really cool photos of people having their eye color change, and
wow,
and that's just from clean slate. But when you start adding the lutein and, you know, some of the other components found in the greens, and this is where the combination of ingredients becomes but also
synergy.
Products, the synergy of the Trinity plus Relive and natural barrier support, whereas clean slate is improving microcirculation. And in this environment, and I'll say the environment that we've been given for the last 2 years, where microcirculation is even of greater importance now, right? It is crucial because you'll see that in your eyes, because the smallest arteries are in your eyes and ears and in reproductive system. Notice how I use the proper language so Claire didn't have to red card me in Mexico.
I haven't had to do anything so far.
It's Rojo. And
What
the
was that? Do we need to red flag that?
no, red in
Probably.
Mexico is Rojo.
Oh,
Rojo.
sorry. I wasn't following.
And the key is cleaning out the smallest vascularity to remove the heavy metals and the toxins that cause the inflammation. But then also with the delivery of those nutrients, you're going to see the improvement in vascular function, which is going to lead to improved vision. There's been tons of people already that don't need glasses anymore. They've had to get their vision corrected, not because it was getting worse, but their prescriptions don't work anymore because their vision's improved.
Yeah. So anyway, so vitamin C is known as ascorbic acid, and it is a water-soluble vitamin. And unlike most mammals and other animals, we humans do not have the ability to synthesize vitamin C. And so we need to obtain it from our diet. So vitamin C is an essential cofactor in numerous enzymatic reactions. For example, in the biosynthesis of collagen, right? Collagen, and which is why we put vitamin C in the clean slate because of the silica to help make collagen, right? So again, you're getting a double whammy here, and is essential. Like I said, it's essential cofactor. So collagen, carnitine, neuropeptides, and the regulation of gene expression. It's also a very potent antioxidant. And in the cohort studies, in these prospective cohort studies actually indicate that higher vitamin C status assessed by measuring circulating vitamin C is associated with lower risk of hypertension, coronary artery disease, and stroke. So overall, regular use of vitamin C supplements shortens the duration of the common cold, but does not reduce the risk of becoming ill. So even though you're taking it, I mean, it doesn't mean that you're not going to get sick. You can still get sick, but it's going to reduce the duration and the span.
And I think that leads into the key with this vitamin C.
Exactly. That's exactly. Touch on that, because that's what's really important about this vitamin C. So like maybe some of you are saying like, well, I'm taking vitamin C. Like I just said, like, oh, I'm taking vitamin C, but this vitamin C is different. And I'll let you, Clayton, just.
It's actually, and I put out the challenge yesterday when I was doing my ambassador training, and for people to do a little shopping. And I was just doing the chat with the detox girls, or at least half of the detox girls, because Shanna's a little sick today. And Jill went and did some analysis, because what Christina did is she sourced a dehydrated liposomal vitamin C. And I've made it really clear that based on the quality of the vitamin C and the quantity that you're getting, like Dora, you hit on, that there's 100 servings in, or more. If you're in Norway, there's more than 100 servings.
We have 150 now.
Oh, it's a bonus. So whether it's 100 or 150, with 100 servings, this is the least expensive source of liposomal vitamin C you're going to find for $75. And Jill did some research. She found that liposomal vitamin C on Amazon was $40 a month. So three 30 count serving bottles or packets was going to run $120. So it's one of the most important things you can have right now. And if you want quality, and everybody's price conscious, it is the most valuable, high quality vitamin C supplement on the market, and it's the least expensive. But that's not all.
Mm-hmm.
So when combining that liposomal vitamin C, and it's funny, right? When you're bringing this up, somebody made the comment that, oh, liposomal vitamin C is the best. I'm like, yeah, it is. And when you can dehydrate it, you're not having to pay for water. And I think this is another part. You're not going to have to pay for fillers or anything else. It's just these three things. So here is vitamin C and redox, right?
And so vitamin C, again, is a potent reducing agent, meaning that it readily donates electrons to other molecules, right? Vitamin C is acting as an antioxidant and an enzyme cofactor. Okay, so vitamin D, well, we've seen this one before. This is the sunshine hormone. And of course, vitamin D has, it's actually getting even more worldwide attention as a therapeutic agent, considering that billion people are deficient in vitamin D. And isn't it interesting how, everybody gets sick in the wintertime, right? And then of course, as soon as the sun comes out in the spring and the summer, everybody's, better. So vitamin D definitely has a role to play there. So why is vitamin D important? So it helps to promote bone growth, calcium homeostasis and metabolism. It helps to regulate the amount of calcium and phosphate, and it's needed for healthy bones and teeth and muscle. And severe vitamin D deficiency increases the risk of many diseases, and it's also an important role in the innate and adaptive immunity. And when we talk about your innate immunity, I mean, this is where we're going to hit on this also, again, not just in vitamin D, but also in zinc, which is really important. How does it work? Vitamin D comes in two forms, vitamin D3 and vitamin D2. Vitamin D is produced in the skin upon exposure to UV light, UV radiation. It's also found in fortified foods, some animal products such as fish, eggs, and liver. And vitamin D2 is only available through the consumption of plant foods and fortified foods and dietary supplements. And the liver is the primary site for the initial hydroxylation reaction that converts both vitamin D2 and D3 to the main circulating form of vitamin D. So the first stop is in the liver, where the vitamin D picks up an extra oxygen and hydrogen molecule to become 25-hydroxy vitamin D. And this is the chemical that doctors usually measure to diagnose vitamin D deficiencies. But although 25-hydroxy vitamin D is used for diagnosis, it can't function until it travels to the kidneys, where it acquires the final pair of oxygen and hydrogen molecules to become 1.25 hydroxy vitamin D, which is the active form of D.
Can I hit on something really quick to just draw some correlations?
Yeah.
And I don't think we've gone over the Dr. Keshkesh's case study on the post-COVID analysis yet on here. We did it on the ISNS conversation.
Mm-hmm.
But we have gone over the non-alcoholic fatty liver conversation pretty extensively.
Yeah.
And in reviewing the analysis and the findings in the case study from Dr. Keshkesh, again, you can see the issues with liver enzymes in that specific case. And we know that here in the United States, 30% of the population has a non-alcoholic fatty liver because we're toxic. But also with this current environment, a lot of those toxins that are in the environment, and it could be mold, fungus, what have you, but a lot of that damages the liver and causes a buildup of fat in the liver, which causes a decrease in function of the liver, which means you might be supplementing with different vitamin D sources and doing stuff. But if your liver is toxic and not working properly, you're not going to be able to assimilate what you're taking. And what Dr. Keshkesh saw, and what we've seen from Tommy and a couple other cases, is that your liver starts to become healthy quickly. And the detoxification of the liver due to clean slate and other factors that can go along with that creates that healthy liver. It starts to remove some of the fat. And is it actually removing fat? No, it's removing the toxins that the fat is storing, so the fat cells can shrink and the organ can become healthy again and start functioning. So in order to have proper vitamin D metabolism, you have to detoxify your liver. That's what we're doing, and I will say this: we're probably doing it better than anyone ever before. And so it's important to understand the correlation between what Clean Slate is going to do for making sure that the other pathways work properly. This is a big one. So,
well, you'll hit on it a little bit further down the road here.
Oh, of course you will.
Yeah. I covered that. Of course, we have, and the great thing about vitamin D is, remember, this 2,700 receptor binding sites. This is really, really important, these receptor sites.
There's not 2,750 or 2,600. There's 2,700.
Hey, that's what they said, 2,700. It just goes to
Imagine
show
being
you.
these genetics guys that count all of those. You got to give them credit, though.
Well, the main thing about this slide here is that the scientific evidence of the 1-alpha-25 dehydroxyvitamin D has a variety of effects on the immune system and also enhances the innate immunity. So that's really important. Yes, innate immunity.
What innate immunity?
Remember that word. Okay, now.
What?
We also have this in another talk, about vitamin D. If you have enough vitamin D and erectile dysfunction. That was a meta-analysis in 2020 that linked vitamin D with severe erectile dysfunction. Okay, so vitamin D deficiency also during pregnancy increases the risk of autism. This was on a slide that not a slide, but another talk we did on autism. And autism actually increases when babies are conceived during the winter months due to the low levels of vitamin D. So one of the things I think that Clayton was trying to hit on was that vitamin D glyphosate suppresses the cytochrome P450 enzymes and this amino acid biosynthesis by the gut microbiome. And so this is really, really important here to understand this part here, because this is where glyphosate comes in. So here you can see that glyphosate suppresses the cytochrome P450 enzyme. And this is the important step of this hydroxylation process that happens. If this enzyme, if this is being suppressed by the glyphosate, it can't get to the kidney to create the active form of the vitamin D. Do you want to hit on that a little bit, Clayton?
No, I think we just did, and I think it hits on the key point of why we can talk about one product, and it's like we continually hit on that there is no magic bullet, right? And so many people want to find one thing, and it's marketed so heavily, across the board for everything that, oh, this is the magic bullet. Take this, and it's the most amazing thing ever. There isn't one. It doesn't exist. You have products that are very, very good, but you have to have an all-encompassing approach. It's the same. It's kind of like having, if you were to have the greatest meal of your life, right? It's not going to be a single course, and it is not going to be one item, right? You're not going to have just the most amazing steak you've ever eaten. It's a matter of, one, how it's prepared, what's on it, because you're going to need butter and some salt, because everything's better with butter and salt. But it's also how that's paired, right? And if you're going to have a great meal, you're probably going to want to have a couple beverages to go with it. Maybe you want a soup, you want a salad, because you got to have your spinach and your kale and your greens, and what courses you want, and what you want with dessert. That it's not just one thing, and you have to really look at this process in the same way. And it's why we have the Trinity plus now Restore and natural barrier support and Relive and natural barrier support and a couple others to come. That it's a matter of creating that all-encompassing approach that handles every major area. So even if you don't want to eat anymore, you have everything covered and all your bases covered. Or you don't want to eat food because maybe you can't trust the quality, and then you have all your goodies.
Oh, but the greens, you can just live off of that one.
Yeah, that, a little Restore, and yep.
Okay, so this is just a slide about vitamin D and how low vitamin D status during pregnancy and how it can affect fetal development. And then you can see out to the right-hand side here where, preterm, for infants, for children with wheezing, asthma, this kind of thing, obesity later on, cardiovascular issues, MS, and then, of course, osteoporosis, cognitive impairment for the elderly, and so forth. So vitamin D is like really important. And so, come on, mouse.
Well, as we've touched on many times before, when you look at the benefits of vitamin D, but then also you look at some of these issues, they also correlate and correspond to environmental toxicity issues, like the osteoporosis issues that happen over time. It's not a vitamin D deficiency. It's actually lead that's leaching from the bone that's displacing, calcium and vitamin D. So you have to address the toxicity. You've then got to add the good stuff. And Birgit is having a really good conversation with some people in chat right now. They're asking about vitamin K. It's known and discussed that you need vitamin K to co-efficient with vitamin D in many aspects, but there's a little unknown component to vitamin K. Taking vitamin K supplements doesn't work. Your body can't assimilate vitamin K supplements. It needs to be in a food source, which is why we have Relive. Because Relive, the ingredients in Relive are loaded with vitamin K,
yeah.
And all the other vitamins and minerals and some of the amino acids and a lot of the stuff you need that are also combined with Clean Slate with the silica and vitamin C in there to help you create collagen, which is why your hair, your skin, your nails and everything starts to look amazing. But you don't need a supplement for it because you're getting it in its natural source. And then you hit on the heavy metal component. Of course you did, because you're you.
Yes, because lead, cadmium, aluminum, strontium interfere with normal vitamin D metabolism by blocking the renal synthesis. Remember I said before about the kidneys, right? It can't ever get to the kidneys because that is being blocked. The renal synthesis of 1,25-dehydroxy vitamin D. The chemical exposure is also linked to low levels of vitamin D. Like, for example, your bisphenol A, your BPAs, your PVCs. This is if you have vinyl shower curtains, also all kinds of cosmetics, nail polish remover, flame retardants, and lubricants, PCBs, your PBBs, and your PBDEs. You have pesticides, and then of course, I already told you about the heavy metals of cadmium, lead, arsenic, and mercury. So the whole point is that in order for vitamin D to work properly and effectively in your body, you need to detox the heavy metals and the chemicals. Isn't it interesting how, we first started with the Clean Slate, everything was like strategically brought out at certain times? Oh,
almost like there was intention.
Exactly.
This is what happens when you work with really, really smart women, is there's a plan. Guys, we would have just thrown it all out there and been like, okay, this is what it's going to be. And you're like, no, there's actually strategy to this whole thing.
Next, moving on to zinc. Zinc is a naturally occurring mineral. It's important for growth and for the development of health of the body tissues. It's used to treat and prevent zinc deficiency, and it's the second most abundant trace mineral in the human body after iron. However, unlike iron, there's no specialized zinc stores. So zinc functions can be classified as structural and regulatory. It's a catalytic. I believe that there's probably about 17% of the world population is actually deficient in zinc, especially the elderly. They're at high risk for zinc deficiencies. And one of the reasons for that is that many elderly or people that are on antihypertensive drugs, such as ACE inhibitors and angiotensin II receptor antagonists and thiazide diuretics, are zinc chelators. So the impairment of zinc homeostasis has also been demonstrated in metabolic diseases, including diabetes, obesity, and cardiovascular disease. It was really interesting because, well, I think it was anyways, but I'll just briefly go over it. This is a view of zinc and the various signaling pathways. So the green arrows show that the zinc mediated activity, and the red shows that it's the zinc mediated in red. And then we have the green, you see here, this is IL-6. But so here we have obesity, cardiovascular disease, diabetes, aging, they're all associated with zinc deficiency. And zinc deficiency also increases the ACE2 receptor activity on type 2 pneumocytes and other cells that are also infected. mainly in the lower respiratory tract. That's down here. So when you have, basically what this is if you have low zinc levels, this is what happens here, where you have these type 2 pneumocytes here. You're actually getting lung damage because the IL-6 is increasing here due to this low deficiency. And like I said before on the last slide, when you're taking, if you have hypertension and you're taking certain types of hypertensive drugs, it actually lowers your zinc. It works as a zinc chelator. Those
Don't
drugs.
think they don't know those pathways.
Okay, well, you can also get it through certain foods as well. Here's what you have to eat. And then we've also had this study on another, during another conversation about the physical tissue, about the barrier integrity. So with the vitamin C, with the vitamin D, and the zinc, this will help to promote tight junctions, which helps to prevent leaky gut. And that's what I have for today.
That pretty much hits on it.
Yeah.
Really well done.
Half hour over the hour. So thank you everyone for coming. We'll see you next week, same time, same place.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye. Thank you.